Sega.
Iron Man made his debut in the pages of Tales of Suspense in March 1963. Comic book writer Stan Lee had enjoyed much success with previous superheroes and was ready to try something new.
I thought, I'm going to try something that you wouldn't think would succeed, but I'm going to make it work. You know, it became a challenge.
He created Iron Man on a dare to see if you could get a military industrialist, womanizing, party boy type guy to actually be empathetic.
So Tony was all the things that I thought people hated at the time, and I said, I'm going to make them like him.
He took comic books and changed them. I mean, up until that point in the 60s, comic books were all about these righteous characters who are great and awesome, but they were kind of one-dimensional.
So, okay, I had a rich industrialist who made war weapons and so forth, but why was he a superhero? So I decided he'd be a guy in an iron suit of armor. And I thought, it shows how original I can be. An iron suit of armor, I'll call him Iron Man.
He was able to take these characters and, despite all their flaws, make them lovable, relatable.
The Iron Man got more female fan mail than any of his characters.
You expecting that to happen for you right now, too?
It already happened. I'm expecting it to continue.
For the past 45 years, Iron Man has thrilled fans around the world as a part of comic book lore. And now the man in the iron suit is set to take on his biggest audience, moviegoers.
Iron Man is going to be a phenomenon.
It's probably the most exciting and challenging thing I've ever done.
Especially when we cast Robert Downey as Tony Stark, it really became very exciting for me.
I think the time was right because the players came together and because the right story was cracked.
I'll be honest with you, I saw the trailer and I was excited. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to see this.
If you were to invent a character that was the perfect character for a video game, you would come up with Iron Man.
It's a huge amount of responsibility to try to do him justice and to really have Iron Man have his first real game. I think we were all a little nervous at first, and then when Jeff started coming up with some of his concepts.
The prototype literally took a week to throw together. It created a foundation for people to understand how the basics of the game are going to work.
When that started coming together and we understood Jeff's vision for the game, we all started to feel really comfortable and get really excited about the project.
It allows you to tell stories in a way that movies don't. Movies are kind of limited. You get 2 hours.
I think it's a complimentary experience to watch a 2-hour movie, to have that experience, and then go home, put in the game, and then play the movie. It doesn't get better than that.
The power of these next-gen consoles to bring the detail, that movie model to life, and then be able to do everything that you see in the film and then some.
That cinematic experience up on the screen comes back onto your screen at home, and now you can control the character.
When Sega acquired us, it was part of a movement to do more Western development, to expand development around licenses.
The strategic acquisition of San Francisco-based developer Secret Level was a key step in Sega's goal of securing the Iron Man property. This acquisition also raised the stakes for the once independent developer.
Iron Man means a lot to our company. It's a chance to really reach out and hit the mass market in a way that we don't often get the chance to do.
It's a real testament to Sega's commitment to the project, to Marvel in general, that they're going and building up their internal studio around the Iron Man franchise.
The problem with a lot of licensed games is that they don't have enough time. So one of the ideas behind acquiring a studio like Secret Level was, hey, if we acquire Secret Level and we then go and sign a license with Marvel, we can go instantly to Secret Level and say, hey guys, we have this great license, start working right now.
Once the license was secured, Secret Level had to begin designing a game based on a character with virtually unlimited abilities. This presented some development challenges.
How are we going to do this? This guy, he can do everything. He can fly as fast as airplanes. He can hover. He can get on the ground and ground pound and shoot far away.
He's got super strength. He's got the armor shield, the unibeam, the repulsor blast, all these different things. You've got to balance gameplay.
So how do you make it so that all these things that he can do are viable tactics, and you don't say, I can just get through the game by sitting back, or I can just get through the game by charging in.
Iron Man is sort of a one-man army, and so he's going out there and he's fighting soldiers and huge battalions of enemies. So we wanted to get that war feeling.
How do you make a threat that this guy can't overcome, but also how do you create the controls to make this guy work? The prototype literally took a week to throw together. I think created a really strong, first of all, it was kind of fun, okay? And that's obviously a good sign. It's gonna be layered gameplay. When you get in close, you can take out a lot of guys quickly. When you're farther away, it's a little bit slower. You have energy usage, which restricts some things, but we always want to make it so you can always fly.
What we needed to do from very early on is get the flight down.
And not flight in a drifting up in the air kind of way, but like pounding against the air at hundreds of miles per hour. And how do you keep up with that? And how do you draw terrain fast enough?
We didn't want to have a game where you're just a character running through, a street or whatever. It's, you can fly. When you've got a character that can fly anywhere at any time, you've got to have an area that's ready for that.
We want to have tracer bullets constantly zipping by, and we want to have a chaotic battlefield type feeling. We have to constantly keep the action, and we have to keep it around the player, but not so difficult that the player feels totally out of control. And so I think that's an area that we're really working on, how many missiles can come at you at the same time, how many people can be firing at you. Constantly twisting that dial, getting it just enough, but not enough to be frustrating.
Trying to find, the perfect match of the flight, the melee, and the range combat, and all bringing that together and making it look beautiful and really, feel like an extension of the film was all things we had to think about.
When that started coming together, we said, this is going to be a really cool game on its own. It's a great license. Everyone agreed with that. But this is going to be a really cool game.
Sega and Secret Level have worked very closely with Marvel during the making of the Iron Man game. This collaboration has proved vital in keeping the ironclad superhero true to the source material.
One of my main focuses is to make sure that Marvel is represented in the best possible light.
They have a really good process set up. Justin Lambros, who's the head of their VP of Interactive over there, has been a great help to us.
There was a lot of back and forth, and we're trying to push that even further between the film team and the game team.
We were asked early on to share assets with the game designers.
The filmmakers also proved to be an indispensable resource for Secret Level, ensuring the game accurately represents the movie experience.
It's been a great two-way street of ideas and information flowing back and forth as much as possible.
We've had basically unlimited access to the assets and the concepts and everything they're working on for the movies.
There was a lot of pre-production stuff that we got to see and reference that I think is going to influence the game in one way or another.
From the beginning, it was clear it was going to be totally different on Iron Man. Favreau is clearly a big gamer, had a lot of comments.
We're still dealing with a lot of the same issues, like how does he move, his different modes of flight, how is it different if he's hovering from when he's flying quickly to when he's on the ground.
Being able to look at it and go, oh, that's interesting how you've got him flying, but I would have him do this. All right, John, we'll do that. To change it up and you incorporate their comments is a big deal.
And even more surprising to me was having Robert Downey Jr. play the game for more than just 5 or 10 seconds.
This one, of course, out of pure narcissism, I'll probably really play a lot and get to know. And so should you.
But actually sit there and play it, and we're like, okay, it's still early, we're not done yet, and he's given us more feedback and comments.
And then likewise, the other way too, we've put some stuff in our game that the producers in the film have looked at and went, well, that's really cool, maybe we should put that in the movie.
When we started coming up with cool ideas like catching a missile and throwing it back, it was really mind-blowing to have the filmmakers go, oh, that's cool. We should figure out if maybe that makes sense for the movie.
I like the idea, and I think we'll begin to see more of this in the future, of a trading of assets.
It's been great to be able to get that collaboration. I think it'll help both projects.
When you have a lot of smart people thinking about solving the same problems that you have, it's always interesting to see what solutions other people come up with.
In addition to working with the filmmakers, Sega and Secret Level have also been able to utilize contributions from the film's effects house.
Marvel and ILM talk, and then what we get to do is go to Marvel and go, hey, can we please have those models that ILM made? So we're getting access to all the ILM effects, all the models we get to look at.
It was really cool being able to trade ideas about and be able to literally have the same meshes and be able to take some of the Iron Man skeletons and the rigging and be able to move that from the film world into the game world. That gave us a huge boost and head start.
We're able to take them, use them for reference, use what we can. I mean, it's that close where we're getting the stuff right from ILM and we're basically plugging it into our game.
Working alongside licensor Marvel allows developers Secret Level to use other assets from the comic book publisher's extensive library.
So there's a ton of stuff that we were able to pull from.
They went off into areas that the movie doesn't go, and that was interesting to see that interpretation.
The version that we're doing is the movie version, but we're able to then bring in even more from the comics. And so it's really picking and choosing the stuff that works in with the movie universe and being true to that.
Even the villains that they've introduced that weren't in the movie stay true to the tone of the film.
It's kind of a smorgasbord of all kinds of great, between what the game team was coming up with, the film team. It's all these different things. We're trying to figure out the best way to make that all fit together.
It's been said that clothes make the man. Never has this been more true than in the case of Iron Man. So getting his suit right in the game was a must.
I hate to say this, but sometimes people can even improve on what I've done.
The way the suit flies, the flaps, the weapons, they seem to have preserved that.
I love the way Iron Man looks. I love the way you have him fly.
Like Iron Man's big screen counterpart, the game starts players off with the birth of Iron Man and his bulky gray armor.
You start out in this tin can suit.
The first level of the game is so much fun, and I just love running around in this big hulky suit, flamethrowing everyone.
You start in a very basic suit, and it's all about upgrades, and as you're going through the game, you're building the suit and making it better and adding stuff to it, adding layers to it. You're going to see different variations of the suit, so we walk you through the same progression that you see in the movie.
Unlike other superheroes imbued with superhuman abilities, Iron Man is a product of self-preservation, ingenuity, and redemption.
He created something that he wore around his heart to keep it beating, but it was a suit of iron, and it was very primitive, but from that came the Iron Man.
Everything comes out of technology. It's not radioactive spiders, it's not mutations, it's not magic. It's all based in stuff that could be built.
He's kind of like just a regular, ordinary Joe, just happens to have a whole bunch of money and a really cool suit.
As on the pages of Marvel's comic books where Tony Stark advances his armor's technology from issue to issue, the player is also able to upgrade their character's suit.
I think there's great things with the customization system and some strategy in battle that really tries to play off that, brilliant mind.
You can choose how to advance your suit and how to basically spend your money as a billionaire researching into different aspects of the suit and making the suit accommodate your style of gameplay.
As you complete objectives, you will get money value for what you do. The more money you get, of course, the more suit upgrades you can buy.
Do you want to be more offensive based? Do you want to be faster? Do you want to hit harder?
The ability to shape the Iron Man armor to the way you want to is one of the things that people are going to automatically like.
It's all upgradable as you go. So not only can you buy these weapons, but you can also upgrade them as levels. And you can get level 2, level 3 of that weapon. And so by the end of the game, if you've really done your homework and played through the game and gotten all the objectives, you can have a suit that is just absolutely, all powerful. You can really kick some butt.
Wow, if I had the suit, first I would probably enjoy flying around San Francisco and just getting that kind of a view. Just kind of enjoying it. And I think that would be the first thing. And then the call is to do something great with that power. And that's what makes these characters heroes. They've taken this power and they try to do good. They try to make the world a better place.
As with any story, an audience needs a compelling character to latch onto, and Tony Stark definitely fits the bill.
I think the luckiest thing that happened was getting Robert Downey Jr. to play Tony Stark. That guy was born to be Tony Stark.
I kept talking to John, and then after a while they said they were going to do some screen testing, and I studied these 3 scenes for the screen test within an inch of my life.
When we cast Robert, the reaction was, I never would have thought of it, but he's perfect.
What Robert Downey has brought to it, under the direction of John, takes us to that other level.
Robert Downey is reprising his role in the game as Tony Stark.
Me and the fellows got together and we really talked about how to kind of retrofit some of the scenes.
Listen, they attacked us because they wanted the inventory stored here, so it's obvious. No more weapons, no more attacks.
Anywhere he sees that character, he wants to make sure that it's accurate and appropriate, and you know, we couldn't have asked for a better partner in that regard.
Opinion noted, Obi, but I am telling you, do it. Come on, Pepper.
Nailed it! And as it turns out, we had fun, and it was kind of breezy and cool, and I love this kind of thing.
Actors Terrence Howard and Sean Tube also reprised their film roles for the game, with Sean Tube's character Yinsen acting as the game's narrator.
This is really interesting because I have certain controls, and I'll tell the players what to do, what's going on now.
Do I have what it takes to become truly great?
In the video game, it was strange because I didn't have any reaction. There was somebody else reading the lines.
You're trying to perceive what might be the end result.
No, the problem is you're out here fighting a war and you're not a soldier.
And you can't be too sure, so it's a little more nerve-wracking.
Stroll out of my airspace now.
Although the majority of the gameplay revolves around Iron Man, Tony Stark also has a strong presence.
I should never have made it out of that cave. Now I know what I have to do.
We plan to take the player through the same journey that Tony Stark goes through.
Definitely in the cutscenes, we're going to have Tony thinking about some of the actions he's taken.
Countless lives ruined by my inventions. I have to destroy them.
More and more you're hearing, you know, in reviews and things. The story didn't move me, but the game looked nice, or the game was fun, but I wanted more. You know, having a good character like Tony Stark makes the player connect more to the game.
Now that is the voice of reason.
I love Tony Stark. He's a very interesting character.
Tony is the ultimate multitasker. He's a guy with a computer-like brain.
He kind of becomes the hero. He doesn't start out a hero in any way.
I gave him the weak heart, because I always felt a character shouldn't be too invulnerable.
He changes the way he lived his life, and that's what's really cool. You get to see that through the process of the game and the movie.
He's basically a good guy, and he always tries to do the right thing.
It's a really awesome character, and I'm just really excited to be working on the game.
Okay, time to go.
During later stages of the Iron Man game's development, comic book icon Stan Lee and the film's director Jon Favreau were privy to a behind-the-scenes preview.
I like the different ways you have him when he's in the air. He doesn't just fly in one position. I know that's what I would enjoy the most playing the game, just putting him in the air and letting him go crazy up there. And those old repulsor rays of his can get anything out of his way.
The first thing I noticed was how true the actual character designs and movement and even controls were to what was in the movie.
It's really true. I really can't see a lot of difference.
I would think gamers would just love this, man. Yeah, you don't even have to play it, just look at it. Playing it is an extra bonus.
Marvel, Sega, and Secret Level are confident that gamers will feel the same way.
That shiny red and gold suit, you know, busting through the atmosphere and you know, the visual effects that come with it is really exciting.
I think is a big departure from a lot of comic book movie type games in the past. They tend to be a little cookie cutter, and I hope that we're bringing something new to the genre.
With a movie game, it's really important to me, you know, working on that game, I want to make sure that everything you see in the movie, you can do in the game.
I think that that's going to be something unique, and people look at this as, hey, this is a pretty cool game beyond just a licensed game.
It's only limited by the imagination and the skill of the people designing the games.
I don't know if there's a game that looks better. You know, you take a look at that suit, you take a look at the environments.
They were able to, you know, do these really vast environments with nice detail and lighting.
It's a ton of work to make anything ever look cool.
That's the trick. You get 1 million people working on something and it seems like it just happened on its own.
It's just the oh wow moment where you're like, that's cool. I feel like Iron Man. That's the kind of stuff I want to do.
Sometimes you have a really inspired story that's being told, and there's nothing more engaging than getting sucked into a video game.
In our game, you actually have to make some choices. You know, do you want to take a bigger risk and risk perhaps failure or death to try to be a more ideal hero?
In this day and age, we need a superhero.
I think you can go back and as far as you could go back in storytelling.
I think mythology has always been a part of culture throughout the ages, and this is our spin on it.
Take a couple hours and imagine us in there and imagine us maybe having that kind of power.
The combined efforts of Sega, Secret Level, and Marvel has produced a truly unique superhero experience with a character that was custom-made for video games.
There's nothing like a great game coming out that draws you in.
My son, Indio, sat down, he played it, and like 10 seconds later, I go, what do you think? He goes, this is cool.